Brothers and sisters, please find yourself a comfortable posture. Enjoy your breaths along with the three sounds of the bell. Bring yourself completely in the here and in the now. Be aware of your breath. Breathing in, I'm dwelling myself in this present moment. Breathing out, I smile. Breathing in, present moment. Breathing out, smile. Good afternoon, my dear brothers, sisters, friends. Today is Saturday, the 30th of January 2016. This is our first mindfulness day of the year 2016. How are you today? How was your day? I hope that you enjoy your day mindfully. There's nothing so exciting, but the environment of calmness, of relax, has nourished us and give us a lot of peace energy. Since we have mindfulness days like this, and most of the talk on this day according to the questions that you have. Today is very exciting, and the first time that I have a whole bunch of questions like this. Usually just a few. Today when I come out and collect all the questions, so surprised, and that's good. In Buddhism, we used to say that the more you doubt, the more you question, the more you enlighten. Because the more we don't understand, that's why we ask. And the reason we ask for learning, we do not ask just to give a contest to someone, but we ask in order to learn from each other, to open our heart, our mind, to learn and to make our practice more deeper each day. Every time when I have questions like this, I used to collect and put them together and try to and see if they have a similar question and we can answer together. All the questions today are very, very good because they related to our practice very much. For example, I enjoy Friday and Saturday practice very much, but I have difficulty awareness in my daily life. How can I incorporate mindfulness into my life when I am confronted with everyday business associated with work, children, bills, deadline, etc. This question, like for me too. Do not think that you only the one who deal with these things. Even myself. Because I am in charge for the temple, and I have a lot of things to worry exactly like you. And maybe my job is even harder. Because the capacity, the building here is 10 times bigger than your house. Then you can imagine my bills are larger than your bills. This is the routine of life. This is the facts of life. We cannot, none of us able to run away. So you are not the only one who deal with this, unless you are a child. But if you grow up, you have a business. Business here doesn't mean only your business, but anything. Your house, your children, your job, your friends, your community, whatever. We all have something to take responsibility. The practice here is because we understand we have a lot of things to take care for. Then the mindfulness will help us to arrange time and our budget. Sometimes people still have a lot of things to do, but they cannot manage their time. That's why sometimes they still have 24 hours as many others, but they cannot do many things much. So mindfulness will help us to see what we need to do. For example, today I planned a day with the Sangha. And yesterday I have a phone call from accountant. They need to talk with me, they need to work with me about the year-end paperwork. And I see that the best time for me is the morning because the young monks can help me for the first session of the day. If I have a meeting with them today, now, then I cannot come out here for a talk. So I can see that I come here for a talk is more important than meditation because somebody else can take care of that. So the point here is we know how to arrange. If you know that you only make 2,000 per month, then you know how much you can spend, what you can spend around that much you have. This is not because the point is we have to understand our situation, what we call mindfulness, we used to say, in order to arrange everything. When we come for taking the food, we have to know about our stomach, how much we can take. If we take too much, we cannot finish it. So therefore, we are the one who know our situation. I used to remind the young monks, if you know tomorrow you have a long drive, then you should go to bed early. Usually children, they do not like to go to bed early. They like to sleep late, but they're unable to wake up early for their school. But on Saturday, on Sunday, they can sleep in, then they wake up early. Is that happen to us sometime too? Someday we know we have to go to work, then that morning is so tired and lazy. But if any day we have a day off, then we want to sleep in, but we can't. So none of us have 25 hours a day. We all have the same amount of time, is 24 hours. But the point here is, depends on how we know to divide our time, to arrange things. You still have your job, so you know your basic income. I don't know my basic income. Right? Everything according to donation. So that's why I cannot, let's say if this month I have $10 extra, that doesn't mean I can spend that, because I have to save it. Maybe next month I don't have enough, then this $10 can help. So every day, our practice here is we learn to moderate time, financial. Even we have a lot of extra, we still cannot waste, because life's very hard to tell. You can reflect on the economy right now. So one of the questions next. We have a lot of fear in our daily life. We all have fear, because this is also part of our daily life and part of our emotionals. But just to sit there and to fear is not good. We fear, then we have to do something in order to transform our fear. But doesn't mean we fearless. We do fear, but we have mindfulness on our fears. Let's say we worry for the economy. So therefore, when we have some extra, we should save it. Do not waste. In our tradition, we used to remind, always have something, dry food in your home. Always have a coat in your home, because someday maybe it's cold, then you have a coat. If you have run out of food, then you have some dry food. So always save them, some extra, just in case for emergency situations. So we all have something to face and to deal every day, and we all have a business to run. The business here, I do not mean only a company we own, but many things we have. Like even a mindfulness day like this is one of our business too. Oh, we have a business today, like running a day for the Sangha. Then we have to arrange our time, arrange in the kitchen so the lady can prepare for us. But when we reflect on things and we know that this is something we do daily, there is nothing heavy us, then things will become very light, simple and easy. Let's say if we are the monk, what is our job? To help others, to help for the spiritual of others. Then we don't see running a mindfulness day like this is a heavy job for us. It's something to stressfulness. This is part of our job. If somebody call in and say, Thầy, my father is very sick in the hospital, we need you to come and to support us. This is part of, why don't they call another one, but call us, at this moment, this is your job, we will call. So like if we have broken sink, then it's something related with the plumber. If something related to electric, we should call the electricians. So there's no way that we can call another one. Same thing. If something come to us, don't see it's heavy, but oh, this is part of my job. Then if we know how to meditate on that like that easily, then things become very light, very simple. You do things without any stressful. If you have a mother, when they're old, you have to take care. That's normal. And don't see, oh, why don't they take care of their mother? Their mother is not old and sick yet, but one day it's come to their turn. We are young now, but one day later we'll become old. This is the order of life. There's nothing that too stressful that we should worry for. But the practice here is to be mindful on all the things we do, and we learn the positive thoughts to reflect on things so we can do things simple and easy and with our joyful. I used to remind, joyful to service, joyful of service. If nobody come to us for any requesting for help, sometimes we complain that, am I helpless? How come nobody asking me for anything to help? So if things come to us, that means we still have energy to take good care. That's why they come to us. So be very simple and be very light on things we do. The news media constantly bombard us with stories of tourism and economic problems, cause us to be fear. This is similar too. If we do not learn the news, we don't know what's going on. Then if we watch the news, then a lot of things to fear us. So what do? If we don't watch, and you will find with that, that's okay. But if we watch, there's another thing. There is nothing in this life completely perfect. Remember, only 50%. When we understanding something, very rarely that we understand 100%. So when we give, we also, give with our own capacity. When we hear the news like this, instead of fear and stop, we fear, then we will do something wholeheartedly and more meaningful for life, especially for our loved one. Let's say if we don't have any problems in our society, no terrorism, nothing, we still fear. What do we fear? Oh, I don't know what happened to my children. If I'm not here, I die, what happened to them? Can they survive, etc. I know I meet a lot of seniors. I work with a lot of seniors, and I know them. Even now, their children have a job. They have their own life. But the grandparents, the parents still save money. What for? Oh, I save this for my son, I save this for my daughter. Just in case if they need, I have something to give to them. This is the love and the fear, the worry of the parents, the grandparents. You know, some of the practitioners, when they read newspaper, do you know what part they read first? Eulogies. And they told me, when they read this, give them, more mindful on their life. And they more appreciate what's going on with them in this present moment. Let's say we are 60 years old, we're sick. We look at the newspaper, 29 years old died. Then we will see, oh, this 29 years old person was sick and died. I'm 60, I'm still here, a little bit sickness, I'm better than. So this will help us to appreciate. I have a young man at the back hall, you see, 29 years old, 4 children. He left behind his 4 children. And every week when I do the prayer, the service for the family, and I look down and I see the 4 young boys, girls, so very sad. So therefore, when we hear negatives, then we cultivate the energy of taking them to become the object to practice for us is to be appreciated and to live more mindfully. And in this planet, in this world, none of the place that are completely 100% safe. If we don't have this problem, we'll have different type of problems. Some of the area, some of the city, of some of the province, the states in North America, this year very cold. Some of the cold area this year very warm. And we say, oh, the weather is so nice, so warm. We appreciate that. But on the other hand, if we don't have enough snow in our city, it's not a good news. Because the farmer, they may not have enough water for the farming. You see, sometimes we appreciate this, but we forgot of the other things. So this is part of, if we reflect on life, then we will see that many things. Now if we go out and we fill the gas, we pay very less. That's good. But that means the economy is low. So we don't pay much for the gas. That's good for us. But the related, what we call is the economy affects everyone. So don't just focus to this and stressful ourselves. But we should see this is the up and down of life. In Vietnam, there was a very famous Zen master. His name is Vàng 10,000 of actions of good work. Before he passed away, he called all of his students come surround him, and he gave them a poem, and then he closed his eyes and he died. Very peaceful death. And this is his poem. I reflect on this body, and I feel that this body is like a thunderstorm. You see the thunderstorm just zip and then it's gone. This physical body is like a thunderstorm. You hear the sound, you see the light, and then that's it. Fast and quick. It's like all the trees. They are so beautiful in the spring, and they will turn yellow in the autumn and die in the winter. Then he compared our life similar to trees and weather. Using your eyes of meditation, of deep looking, and you reflect on this life, everything's come, pass by. Very high, low, up and down all the time. Economy, politics, positions, jobs, everything. Even our health, right? We're very strong, and then slowly, slowly we weak, and then we sick, we ill, and we die. And he said that use the eyes of meditation, the meditation eyes, in order to reflect all of this. And now we see what happened. All the changing, they are just like a dew on the top of the grass. In the morning when you walk out in the garden, you see the dews on the grass, on the leaves. But when the sun shines, what happened to all the dews? Vanish. Nothing will stay forever. Another Zen master of Vietnam, his name Mãn Giác, fully awakening. Same thing, before he died, he called his students around him and he gave them a poem. And this poem, every year when we come to the new year, people used to recite this poem because he used the symbol of the flowers, of the yellow flower and the cherry blossom, that which will be arranged this next week. Because in Vietnam, when New Year's arrive, these flowers bloom. The yellow flower and the cherry blossom. And he said, when the spring comes, you see flowers blooming. When autumn comes or winter comes, you see flower vanish, gone. No more spring, flowers are also gone. Your hair turns gray each day. Your eyes weaker. Your skin wrinkle each day. But you sitting here and you see, things pass by you every day. Your hair turn color. Do not complain. When you don't see the flower, doesn't mean no more spring. Next spring, after the winter, you will see the flower again. Very positive poem. Never see in a small child, they don't have the very strong energy and capacity. A young prince can become a king. A young monk can become the abbot, the preacher. The very small poison snake can bite someone and that person can die because of the poison in that small snake. One match can burn the whole forest. So a little flame still very valuable. Sometimes the flame light up just very tiny, but you still can see the switch to turn the lights on. But in the dark room where you cannot see the switch, you still need that match. Same thing, the Buddha said, there are 4 things we cannot underestimate. The prince, the young monk, the snake, and the flame. The flame can burn the whole forest. The snake can bite you and you die because of the poison of the snake. The young monk can become the high monk, famous monk. And the prince can become the king. So just relax. Relax here. Doesn't mean just sit and don't worry for nothing. No, I don't mean that. In Buddhist practice, relax means things come, we deal. Things gone, let it go. Things not come, don't worry too much. Why? Because things already passed, you cannot bring it back. Things are not yet come, you cannot make it sooner. The practice here, the real things here is what is going on in the present moment here. You have to deal with it. Let's say my grandmother, she passed away a long time. I love her and I, regret that I don't have a chance to take care for her. And when I was young, she loved me and she take care for me, but I haven't had a chance to, repay her what I owe from her. I feel regret. But I cannot suffer with that because I know I cannot do anything to make her come back to this life. But I know one thing is, in me, my grandmother in here, because her blood transmitted to my mother. My mother transmitted to me. So in me, I have the blood of my grandmother too. So instead of nourishing her, take good care for her, then I know how to take good care for my life. At the same time, I take good care for my grandmother. So if we have someone who passed away, do not just, keep our sadness to suck us down. But we have to know that we have to do something to make that person feel happy for their depart. And they feel happy with our back here. Yesterday, in my very short nap, just 10 minutes, I have a beautiful dream that I came back to Plum Village in France and visit Venerable Thích Pháp. He is my most respected teacher. I received a high ordination under him. And inside of my heart, he's very important. And I dreamed that I came and visit him, and he stand up, and he used his hand to put on my head. And I'm so happy, and I hug him, and he also used his head on my head, and I told him, I used to call him Sư Ông, mean grandmaster. And I asked, do you know that I love you too much? I love you so much. In my short nap, and I dream of that. And one of our sisters here, she told me that she have a fortunate that she come back to Vietnam to visit the root temple of Master Nhất Hạnh. And I told her, you are lucky than me. I haven't had a chance to go back to center of Vietnam to visit the Hiếu temple. Even I heard a lot about that temple. I haven't had a chance to. And for 30 years already, I have not a chance to come back to Vietnam. This is my 30th year. I left Vietnam since 1986. And now 2016, for 30 years. And you know that every time when I dream that I come back to Vietnam, I cry. Every single time I dream that I'm back to Vietnam, I cry. And when I wake up, my tears come out. My pillow get wet. I really cry in my dream. So right now, even Vietnam had changed a lot. But in me, a lot of the old pictures. And even I don't come back there, I don't suffer. Because I know that I have a lot of work here. And a lot of other monks on behalf of me to do there. So I have my my homeland in my heart. So same to you. We all have our loved one. They may die, they may sick. But please, practice to see them that they are now no longer limited in one particular body, but they now manifest in us beautifully. Everywhere you go, your ancestors go along with you, right? Even now you're sitting here to practice meditation, and you know that your ancestors are also sitting here with you because you carry them. You carry their blood. So now they are no longer limited, but their life is very powerful. They manifest beautifully. Do you understand so far what I share? I am wondering about koans. Do you think they are helpful in meditation practice? What are other differences between Rinzai, Soto Zen? What is Pure Land Buddhism? When the Buddha lecturing, giving a teaching, he never divide any sect of Buddhism. He just giving the teachings. Depends on the audience at that moment. Depends on people who come to visit him, what problem they have. He just give his teachings in order to help that person to overcome the suffering. But he never define, oh, this is Zen, this is Pure Land, this is Rinzai, this is Zoto, whatever. After Buddhism came to China, one monk, he sit down and he tried to select. So all the teachings that related to Zen, he put in one section. And now they divide Buddhism in China into 10 sects. Zen, Pure Land, Precept, Lotus Sutra, Flower Ornament Sutra. They take one teachings to become the main practice of their branch. So totally 10 branches. So the question in here, they already named 3 branches. And also in Zen, in Zen, they also have more smaller branches. What is this for? Just according to what they successful in the practice, and they use that as the main practice and main teachings. That's all. There is nothing to against each other. Let's say I practice meditation, and I'm completely happy with my practice, and I achieve a lot of benefit. So I use this meditation as my main practice, and whatever I share, I teach, I practice according to meditation. Somebody else, they cannot sit and breathe because it's hardly for them to meditate on their breaths. So what do? They use the prayer bits. They say the name of the Buddha in order to keep their mind calm. They're breathing in, they say Ami, Namo, Amita, Buddha. So whatever way, as long as that way able to keep us maintain calmness, peace, happiness. The technique is no matter. It's like when you're coming here and we have two different kind of cushions. Somebody still can sit on a smaller cushion, fine, you use one cushion. But now, later on, a lot of people who have problem with their sitting, then we have a higher cushion. Sometimes I can see it's not high enough. And you add up one more. So what? In order to make you feel comfortable when you sit. So what are these? Helpful to use. Whatever way that helpful for you to use, that become good. Same thing. All the branches in Buddhism, okay, just the way in order to adapt for many different needs of people. It's like medications. Different type of sickness, then there are different type of medications. But what are the purpose of taking medications? To heal our sickness. So what is rinzai? Rinzai is one type of Zen branch. And what is this type of Zen they practice? They practice Konan. What is Konan? Konan means some short story without any explanation. When you read it, you may understand right away, but you may not understand. But keep that story with you. You focus on that, and sometimes you just have that become adopt a question for you. You walk along your life, you work, and then one day things come. The story that makes sense for you. Konan. Konan means short story. There is a meaning, but we may not understand yet. Take that, become the object for meditation. For example, this is a Konan. There is a blind man who come to visit his friend. And on the way home, his friend gave him a lantern, a light. He said, "My friend, don't you forget that I'm blind. I don't need this lantern. It doesn't matter with me. You give me a light or not." And the friend said, "Oh, my friend, I know you don't need it. But if you have this in hand, other people will see you, so they won't hit you." You see what they mean by that? So he carried the light and walked on the street. And somebody accident hit him. And he said, he yelled at that person, "Don't you blind? Don't you see the light in my hand?" And that other person said, my friend, I know you have in your hand is a light, but it's already shut down. When we don't see, this is a Konan, we don't understand what's going on and what meaning by that. Take that with you. It's become a question for you, become your story. Maybe you walk in this life for all year. One day some happening in your life. This Konan fits with your life. You have a way, your method. It's like you have a light in your hand. But never misunderstanding, once you have this in hand, that means you are saved. It's like when you hold a map, doesn't mean you arrive there. You're just holding a map. But most of us misunderstanding. When we have a map in hand, that means we are arrived. We are see the destination, but actually it's not. You see what I mean by that? Konan is like that. A young friend come to see a monk. He said, "Master, I would like to sit down with you and discuss Buddhism with you." And the master said, "Oh, okay, please sit down. We have some tea together." He lifted up the teapot, pouring the tea into the cup. He keep pouring the tea, even the teacup is full and it spill out. And that young friend said, Master, the teacup is full and spill out. Stop. And the master said, "You must empty your cup before you come here. What does it mean by that? We don't understand, become the Conan. And one day, oh, I know it now. If you come to learning for something, don't carry the full of your knowledge. You should empty your mind with your open heart in order to learn from someone. If you have a question for someone, but in you, you're already full of your answer. You just ask to ask, but you don't mean to learn, then it's helpless. So Rinzai, Zen branch, they use Conan for their meditation. Sometimes they say, who is the one to recite the name of the Buddha? Who is me? Who am I? Sometimes they say, one go to everything, then everything go where? Or they say, everything go into the one. How about where is the one going to? They have such questions. So Rinzai Zen branches, they use all the Conan for meditation. Soto Zen, their meditation is more relaxed. Oh, just sit. Sit and let things to be. So Pure Land is the branch that they use to recite the name of the Buddha. Same thing, but just different technique. I cannot focus to my breath, so that's why I cannot stay calm. That's okay. Say the name of the Buddha. In saying the name of the Buddha, that means you remember the Buddha, you say the Buddha. Once you remember the Buddha, you don't remember anything else. There's another way to make you calming, but by focus to one thing. In Zen, if you focus to your breath, then you don't focus to anything else. In this type, you focus to the Buddha, then you don't focus to anything else. Same way to help you to overcome your sickness, but different type of medication, different name. And sometimes same name, but different company. One thing is the quality is the same, just no name branch. And the one with name. So no name branch is more cheaper. You see what I mean by that? You remember that all the teachings of the Buddha is like medications. If you ask, oh, which one is the most, powerful? None. Anything that's able to help you, that's become power. Even that is the very famous teachings, but doesn't help you at all. Still not worth. You see, sometimes things very expensive, but that expensive thing doesn't help, doesn't fit for this situation. But all you need is $1 things can do everything. So there is a master from Pure Land, he said, there are no way to define medications, which one is the best. Healing your sickness is the best. Is there any Dharma practice is the highest one? There is no highest Dharma in the practice. As long as help your mind. And because we have learned the flexibility, that's why we can adapt in any situation of life. Let's say if we live in this environment, we still have vegetables, then we're able to be vegetarian. But if I live in the mountain or some country that they don't have any land and the weather is not good to grow vegetables, then in this case I have to accept to eat meat. So remember, our practice here to become, the enlightenment, not according to our meal, but according to our mind. The meal is only to help for our physical body to survive and continue the practice. But do not too much suffering on whether you are vegetarian or non-vegetarian. But if you do have a choice, then why don't you find something to eat that more gentle, less killing to the other beings like animals? But if you, in the case that you have no choice, then in this case you have to accept. So you never heard anyone enlightenment because of vegetarian or non-vegetarian. But you will heard someone enlightenment because how deep of meditation, how deep their understanding about life. When you heard someone say, "Oh, that he is awakening," doesn't mean he attained any power in him, any magic. But enlightenment here means he has understood completely all facts of this life. And that's why none of the facts come back to able to have any power to suffer him. Let's say we understand that once we have this physical body, we have to accept the changes in this physical body. If we know this, they still change on this physical body, but now this changing unable to make us suffer. Because we know exactly there is no way to prevent this. We get older each day. Our health is lower each day. And we come closer to the death. This is the true facts. You want to hear about this, or you don't want to hear about this, they still come to us every day. But the one who understand, less suffer, more accept, and they know before they come to that line, they have to do something meaningful. They will not waste. And because you know that life cannot tell, we can tell when is the baby will be delivered, but we cannot tell when we will be dying. A child in their mother's womb, we can tell 9 months or 10 months, but when soon they born, we cannot tell how much time they can live. This morning I still okay. Just before I come out here, I have a cold. So therefore, this is the true facts of life. So if you heard someone in Buddhist, we used to say, "Oh, the Buddha enlightenment." Enlightenment doesn't mean he have any power in him, that he can fly or he can do anything magic. But now, nothing in this life can bother and can suffer him anymore. Because he knows he still have to attain all of that, but nothing of that can suffer him anymore. Like you live in Edmonton. If someone come to you and say, Mom, come out and see, there's snow in January. Oh, in Edmonton, January have snow, is new enlightenment. From November until April, snow can be any time because we know this is the time of winter. We enlightenment. We still have snow, but snow cannot suffer us because we know this is the true facts of Edmonton. Is that clear? So any way that helps us to overcome suffering, that's become the beautiful way. I know, like some of our sisters here, they came here since they just need only one cushion. Now they need 3 cushions. Lot of the senior, when I know them, I'm only 14. They still look very young, and now I'm 42, then doesn't mean they still healthy the same. Once things change, the other things will change. They're related. So, and because we see the related and the impermanent of life, that's why the ego in us is trying completely slower and lower down. One master, he said, a practitioner is like, the more we practice, it's like the airplane. The more they fly high, the smaller you see. Same thing. The longer you in the practice, the smaller of your ego. To be humble. You know, when people just have a position, like let's say they just receive a position as a president, a vice president, they're so important, the position. They expect things to be like this and like that. But the longer they work in that position, nothing. The position is what? The more position you have, the more job you do. This is facts of life. The more famous you are, the more rumors you have to receive. A lot of gossipings. So one of the ways to practice, to reflect in order to lower our ego is practice, meditate on impermanent. See that without this person, we are not here. Let's say we work in the office. After we left in the evening, a company of cleaner, they come and clean the office. And we can see the 2 different jobs. One who sits with desk, computer, writing, typing, all electric around. One person work with their hands, their physical work. But if we are, we see them down, and that's not right. We have to appreciate. Oh, after I left here, the next morning I come back, my office clean, I have to appreciate. Because they accept the name of the labor in order for me to become officer. So without them, I don't have this name. So if somebody come in and accept them as nanny labor, then we have to see that the nature in me, in us, and in them are the same. So that's why in Buddhist practice, why we see each other and we doing like this, we greeting like this. This is one of the way to lower our ego. I respect you, no matter young or old or famous or whatever. And this also one of the reasons why we sit on floor. To sit on the floor means low down everything, and we bow deeply down. Sometimes we just same to the others, but we try to bring us up a little bit. Oh, I'll do better. I can do better. And if we are, they are lower than us, we try to lower them down. Sometime you will visit some temple, they have lot of statues, and there is a set of statues, 18 arahats, 18 statues of students of the Buddha. And each of them look different. Their face describe different emotions. And there is one monk who opened his heart like this, opened his shirt like this, and you will see the image of the Buddha right here. His name we call Open Heart Buddhist monk, Open Heart Arahat. Why the Buddha right here is symbolized or remember everyone have the nature of goodness. Everyone have the nature to become something. 18 of them, they describe different faces that describe different emotions in life. And every emotional have valuable for us to learn. Sometimes we feel sad, but the sadness moment can become, some moments become a memory. Or when we're happy, we know the sadness moment is very, very helpful, because it helps us to see when we have no sadness is happiness. So when you're hungry, we also appreciate, because it helps us to see what is called suffering of hunger. When we're able to reflect all of this, and we will see that everything in this life, they come here, they appear, but the nature of them, the nature of everything is emptiness. What do I mean by emptiness? Emptiness means we don't have a particular individual. Everything combined with many others, elements. And when we can see this, we don't see that we are number one, but we need many other elements in order to help us to survive. Let's say we are a good cook, but if nobody growing vegetables, what can we use to cook? So the dish that person cook delicious, tasty, because they have enough vegetables and spices. So if they miss one of the spice, their dish is not completely delicious. So sometimes your dish come out just without you missing a little bit vinegar or missing a little bit pepper. The dish is not that much tasty. So emptiness doesn't mean everything in this life is completely nothing. But we have to see that everything come here, appear here as a combination, as the conditions. But nothing stay alone. I cannot do everything by myself. Even you say, oh, this temple is run by Thich Phap Hoa. It's just a sentence. But if you reflect truly and completely, I cannot run this temple by myself. I need a lot of helpers. I need someone to help me to clean. I need to have someone to help me to cook. I need everybody to give me their hand in order to make this temple run good. You look at this physical body. This physical body is combined by 5 elements or 4 elements. The earth, the water, the heat, and the air. But they are not real. Not real means emptiness. Even our breath. We borrow one breath in, we return one breath out. We borrow, we return. We borrow, we return. One day, this contract is no longer, it's out of date. It says, oh, today I only allow you to return, but I will never let you borrow anymore. Then we finish our life. So if we reflect even our life, everything is borrow and return. When we're thirsty, we borrow a glass of water. How much time we can keep? Maybe 2 hours later, we return. We ask for some food. Few hours later, we return. When it's too hot, we borrow a fan. When it's too cold, we borrow a jacket. So this physical body, fever, cold, sinus, congestion, many different small things like that can happen anytime. So if we reflect deeply on this physical body, and this physical body is completely not us, they're just empty. Empty doesn't mean nothing. Empty means not real. They are here. But what happened? Not forever. Even this glass of water we use, emptiness means if accident we drop it, it break right away. So now this glass become nothing. So, but we do not need to wait until to see it break. We call empty. We have to see it's empty, right? It's still here in order to get out of our attachment. We do not need to detach. We don't have to detach. But once it's no longer with us, then we have to accept life exactly like that. If things stay forever, we never get old. We never sick. We never die. So the meditation or the idea of emptiness, in order to see, help us to see the real nature of everything. When you see something, you also can see the nature of it. This piece of paper, we call paper. But what is this paper made of? Wood, tree. But why don't we call tree? Now we come with this form we call paper. But the nature of this paper is trees, water, fire, and foam. But this piece of paper also cannot forever. I use this as a graph paper. You write a question. So after we finish, I can throw this away. And you can see that, oh, we are 60 kilos, 100 kilo, 200 pounds, 250 pounds. But when we die, we go to the crematorium. 6 hours later, maybe 2 pounds. That is something left over. And that 2 pounds If somebody, your loved ones still want to keep it, they keep it. But if somebody don't want to keep it, we go back to the universe. So this is the life of conditions. Everything is related. So once we can meditate on impermanent and the connection between us and others, our ego will low, our life will be more appreciated, we will less suffer, but we're more happy with what we have. Less expectation, more accept. And we will know what to do in order to help us happy, in order to make others happy, in order to make both sides happy. Sometimes we are very selfish. We don't care others as long as we're happy. Some people in this life, they live in that way. And that's why they don't find the meaning of life. They don't see any purpose of life. But if we do see that my life is short, my people around me, their life also may short. That's why I will try to live any way that make me happy and make the others happy as much as I can. Happy here doesn't mean we try to teasing them, to doing something funny so they can laugh. But try to do something first to benefit us. But benefit us is not enough. Make sure it's also benefit others. For example, if we say something when we're angry, just to satisfy our anger, but don't we think that words will hurt the others? Sometimes we release the anger out of us, but that anger now transmitted to others. Sometimes life happens like that. We want to get rid of our suffering. We take it out, we say it, we do it, so we satisfy our anger. But at the same time, we throw it to the other person. Few minutes later, few minutes before, somebody throw that to us. And this is the cycle of suffering. We just suffer, somebody suffer us, we try to suffer someone. And that's why, what is the whole thing in this life? We just busy to suffering each other. But we don't learn how to stop making suffering to others. We don't see the beautiful of life. We don't see the purpose of it. Somebody, they just spend their time playing game all day. Gambling all day, drinking all day. They cannot do anything and they say, I'm helpless. Because we don't learn, we don't stand up to do something, then we don't see the benefit. We don't see the result we can be done. If you have a messy room, you just leave it like that forever, then your life will be just in that messy room. But if we stand up, let's do some cleaning. After you do some cleaning, you put everything nice and neat, you see your result. Wow, I cannot imagine. I still can do this. Yes, we do. We can do it. Just because we don't know how to cultivate our capacity completely. So when the Buddha, after he awakening, what did he say? How wonderful, today I found that everyone have the nature to become the Buddha. I am not the only one who is able to attain it. Everyone, everybody, every beings, they're able to practice and become the same thing. I told my young students now, try to come up and give Dhamma talk. You cannot give an hour, 50 minutes. After you get used to 50 minutes, now you can stay, you can talk longer. Everything is a training. Even we receive a new job, we still have 3 days or 3 weeks for training. None of the things in this life that we can do naturally, except you are super. But this will not happen rarely in life. Regularly is what we need to train. You find very hard to sit on the cushion, but after few months you come here, you get used to it. You cannot imagine, you never sit like this in your home. Unless you come here, there's no choice. You have to sit in this way. Then this environment protects us in particular practice. So it's very hard to give the real answer. What is the purpose of life? Because different of us have different corner of viewing about life. Let's say I'm a monk. I can find the purpose of my monk's life is to live good, to practice good, and when I have a good practice, I can share with others. This is the purpose of my life. You are as a mother. You can find the purpose of your life is live good, take good care for your children. If they're out of your hand, you don't have a chance to take care for them, but the way you live can become the mirror for them to reflect. You cannot give them money, but you can give them your practice. You can give them your virtues, your morality, your good life. So different of us have different environment to live, situation of living, and you can view life different way. But we have to find the point to live. There are more questions, but I will save it. Because I don't dare to keep you longer, otherwise you sleep in. But do you understand so far what I try to share? Do not let our life come to the end, but nothing we can make during the way we come there. Let's say we plan to go to the post office this morning. But if we have some other things to stop by, we also can prepare. And from home to the post office, we still have other things to do on the way. We also come to the destination one day. But before we arrive to that destination, we don't know when. Then that's why there's no time for us to waste. Do something before we arrive there. If we find out that I have no purpose of life, that means we do not have a chance to sit down and meditate yet. If we sit down, meditate, who am I? What I am doing now, then you will find out you have something to do. Never say, oh, I have nothing to do. Yes, you have something to do. If you don't do cleaning, you can do studying. If you let's say we watch TV, we listen to music, we do some reading, we do some garden, we clean our house. None of the day that we don't do something. I always create this quote for myself, and I live with it, and I share with young people. We all come from nothing. Then we will go back to nothing. Before we become nothing, let's do something. This is what I create for myself. I wrote it down for myself, and I always share with my young friends. If you are a married man, a married lady, then you know you have to take good care for your marriage life. If you have 2 children, you have responsibility with your 2 children. Even you divorce, you still take care for your children. Not only money, not only child support, but you have to call them and talk with them and bring them out and do something to keep the connection. Especially if you do have the practice like this, it will help you more. Brother Peter, lately he just have an interview with the company, with the office that he do some counseling for youth. Yesterday I talked to him and I said, Peter, you know why I allow you to do a job like this? I don't focus to money. We do not focus to how much you make per hour. But I want you to know that the young people outside here, they need a lot of your help. And I allow you to work because I love all the younger generation. I hope that he can bring the light of peace that he received during his practice. He can help them. I cannot, I have a lot of things to do, and now it's time for my younger students, time up for them to do work. And when I ask him to do like this, I don't, according to how much he can make. But I want him to know that their job is to help the others. When I asked Brother Lawrence and Peter organize a meditation course in Westlock Center, I told them, don't worry how many people per week, as long as we do it. Sometimes only 1 person come. I ask them still go out and teach. Because 1 person have the intent to learn, and our job is to teach. 1 person learning better than no one to learn. The time you teach the others is the time to teach yourself. What is your teaching yourself? The lecture of patience. The lecture of accept one or many. We have to have the eyes to see that one and many is not important. They're still human. They're still a being that we can come close to them and help. I told my students, I practice when I'm 15 years old. And when I when I think that I operate a session like this, everything I do by myself. I have no friend, no brothers to help me. On the first day, I start some project like this. Since 1997, until now. I never expect each week have to be 20, 30, or whatever. This door open for anyone who need the calmness, the peace. So the time that we teach only 1 person is the time for us to sit there and enjoy the peace. So I always remind myself, I never think, oh, I'm come out to teach the others. I never think that. But I thought that I'm sharing what I know. And I also know that when I'm coming out like this, there's a chance to help me too, to improve in my practice. And once you can see that, when you're able to practice like this, you know that you are part of the community. You don't see that you are separate. And because you don't see you are separate, that's why you can embrace everybody easily. You can love everybody easily. There was a Bodhisattva called Kundi. And this Bodhisattva has 18 hands, 3 eyes. Very weird. But you know what is the third eye symbolized for? The third eye symbolized for the pure insight. The hand symbolized for the kindness, the services. Once you can see things you need to do, then your hands will come there and help. Of course, there is no being look like 18 hands and 3 eyes. It's only the image. It's only a symbol. Every single thing you do with the heart of compassionate. Right and left, still 2 sides. Unless you can bring things in the center. We call middle path. No attachment to left or right. You see something wrong, you just help. But usually we say, oh, I know this person, let me help. And if we step in, oh, I don't know them, somebody else can help. This is usually happen to us. But the third eye come. No matter know that person or not knowing that person. He need help. I am able to help. I help. So Kundi. The third eye symbolizes for the wisdom, the insight, without any attachment. The 18 hands symbolize for services. You see things wrong, your hands there to help. Let's say after we finish the talk, somebody sit beside you, stand up and they almost fall. Then you stand beside or you stand behind. You have to come and give a support. You're going to say, oh, I'm sorry, you're a lady. I'm a man, I won't touch you. In that case, you don't talk about a precept. But in that case, you have to talk about a virtue. Of course, the practice is men and ladies separate. That's the precept. But when you come to the situation that they need help, in that case, you have to see precept flexible. You don't break the rule. You don't use advantage. You don't use that advantage. You don't take advantage at that time, but you just help someone. Before we finish, I would like to share with you a story related to this. There was 2 monks walk on the way, and suddenly there was a lady who fell down. And one monk come and lift her up, bring her over the street, and lift her down, and they continue their journey. The second monk, the one who doesn't lift up that lady, he feel uncomfortable because he thought that monk broke the rule. Because you are a monk, you are unable to touch ladies. They walk for a while. That monk cannot stand anymore. He stopped and said, my brother, I really disappointed about you. Don't you know we have precept? And one of the precepts is you're unable to touch the lady. And the monk who hold the lady, he said, brother, I left that lady down so long ago. Why you still carry her here? I carry her. I lift her up, but I already left her down. You didn't carry her, but you carry her in where? In your mind. That's heavy. In Buddhist practice, things are very flexible. The precept is something to protect us. But not because of the precept and you forgot your loving kindness to others. You have to be clear on that. You have to combine your loving kindness along with your precepts. When you should do and what you should not do. So because of the precept and you don't care to others, that's wrong. You don't understand completely the idea of Buddhism, of the Buddha. Normally, precept will protect us, will protect you away from mistakes, wrongdoings. But in that case, somebody dies, somebody needs your help. You don't have any intent to do it. Oh, I take advantage. So I can touch this lady, I can do something wrong on her. No, just help her. And if you're able to see that and practice that, you are meditation all day long, anywhere you go. You meet Buddhism every corner of the universe. You never frame yourself, oh, Buddhism only in the temple. Now you can see Buddhism is the way of life. You can bring Buddhism anywhere you come, easily to practice. Thank you so much for your time for the day. Thank you so much for your questions. I hope that with my sharing, I have answered part of your question. May you be well and happy and enjoy your weekend. I will see you next Friday, especially tomorrow. According to our tradition, that before we celebrate the Lunar New Year, we will have a ceremony to commemorate our ancestor. So if you have time, you can come here tomorrow morning at 10:30. First, we have a short service, and after that, we're facing to the altar of ancestor. And you will silently invite your ancestor to come to the practice center and to listen to the prayer and also to have some meal. Of course, this is the time for us to commemorate our ancestors. So this is the traditional ceremony. It's a cultural, but it's very powerful to help us to continue the root with our family system, with the source of our family. Please enjoy your breath along the three sounds of the bell.